In this video, we will start with the first of grammar common errors, subject-verb agreement. So in the common error subject-verb agreement, the verb must agree with the subject in number. So the basic rule is, if the subject is singular, its verb should be singular, and if the subject is plural, its word should be plural. A very simple rule to remember, but problem occurs when in a sentence the subject and verb are not adjacent to each other. So that is known as the error of proximity. Problems can arise when plural nouns intervene between a singular subject and its verb, or when the subject of a sentence is a long phrase or stands at some distance from its verb. It is therefore important that you identify the subject correctly. So let us do some examples. The first sentence is a sterile range of mountains, broken at intervals by deep ravines, enclose the whole of this small country. So a sterile range of mountains enclose, that broken intervals, ravines, too many plural nouns. Now, which is the subject here? This whole phrase is actually a subject, the sterile range of mountains. But the subject word, within the subject phrase, you have to locate the subject verb, subject word. So the word here is range. So it is the range of mountains. And this range encloses, not enclose. So if the range as a subject is singular, the verb should be third person singular with an additional s. So encloses. So therefore the correct sentence is a sterile range of mountains encloses the whole of this small country. And of course in between you have within two commas broken at intervals by deep ravines. So this intervening adjectival phrase tends to separate the subject from its verb, and hence the plural nouns like intervals, ravines tends to give you the feeling that enclose as a plural verb is correct, and you lose touch with what is the actual subject. So the actual subject is range, which is singular, and hence the verb should be encloses and not enclose. Let's see another example. The result of all these lengthy legal actions, so plural, counterclaims, plural, appeals, plural, stretching over several months, plural, were simply huge bills from the lawyers and nothing else. So you've come across so many plural nouns that you feel that were as a plural verb is correct. But what was the original subject? It was the result. It is the result of. This of phrase, which is so long, followed by another stretching over several months, another present participle phrase. So all this separates the subject from the verb. So the correct answer is the subject is the singular result and the verb should be singular was. So this should read as the result was, the result of XYZ was simply huge bills from the lawyers and nothing else. So were is wrong, it should be was. Everything except the flowers are ready. Now flowers is plural, so R looks okay there, but actually it is wrong because the real subject is the indefinite pronoun everything, and indefinite pronouns always take a singular verb. So everything which is a singular subject takes the singular verb is. So everything is ready except the flowers, or everything except the flowers is ready. So it should be everything and is. Next sentence, not very far from the ancient Syrian oasis known for centuries as Tadmor stands Now, what stands is this oasis standing, but it's saying not very far from this stands something else. What stands? The imposing sandstone structures of the great Nabatean kingdom. Now, it is these imposing structures, which is a plural verb. So here the subject is coming after the verb because of this inverted order in this sentence. So the subject is actually the imposing sandstone structures, and structures is the plural verb, plural subject. Hence, the verb should be stand. So stand the imposing sandstone structures, not stands. So I'll read it again. Not very far from XYZ stand the imposing structures of the great Nabatean kingdom. Next sentence. Quite far to the left of the discredited and fading ideas of the Prime Minister's party. Quite far from the left means left in terms of political spectrum, like left, right. So left wing, right wing. So appear, again it's an inverted order. Appear what? Or appears what? The fresh new concepts of the young professional class. So what appears quite far to the left wing? That is the concepts of the young professional class. So concepts is the subject word, which is a plural. Hence the verb should be plural, appear, not appears. So quite far to the left of XYZ appear the new concepts of XYZ. So appear the new concepts. So this is how it is not so simple. One may say that, okay, subject singular, verb singular is such an easy rule to apply. As we have seen in some of these examples, especially in the inverted order and lengthy sentences, or where there are so many plural nouns in between from the singular subject and the verb that you lose track of what is the subject. So that is why it is called a common error. Well, people who are well proficient in the language also commit this error. So you have to be extra careful. You should have a mental habit of trying to locate the subject and seeing whether its verb, which one is its verb, and whether they agree with each other or not. Another problem that comes up in this error of subject verb agreement is sometimes it is not clear whether the subject is singular or plural. So here are some examples we will see, different idiomatic constructions. Let's see the first one. Many a good driver finds skidding an alarming experience. Now, you may not be familiar with this idiomatic structure, but in an idiomatic structure like many so this is actually written in a singular form but has a plural meaning. So the meaning actually is many good drivers. Let's say if they are driving on a muddy patch or it's recently rained and the mud is slippery and the bike or the car tends to skid, even good drivers will get alarmed. So basically what you are trying to say here is many good drivers find skidding an alarming experience. But if there's an idiomatic way of emphasizing that this is a common occurrence, right? So the idiomatic form is many a good driver finds skidding an alarming experience. So many a good driver, though you are using many, but then you are using a good driver. You are not saying drivers, right? So it's a singular driver, hence there should be a singular verb finds. So many a good driver finds skidding an alarming experience. That is correct. And it means many good drivers find skidding an alarming experience. So let's forget about the meaning. But when you're using such an idiomatic construction, the many, a good driver is actually a singular subject, so therefore finds should be the singular verb. Similarly, more than one accident here has happened in the fog. You're basically trying to say through this idiomatic construction that quite a few accidents have happened in the fog. So basically, it's a plural subject. Quite a few accidents have happened. So have happened plural. But when you write it in this idiomatic form, more than one accident here has happened. So more than one accident is in this idiomatic construction a singular subject, and it takes a singular verb, has happened, though the meaning is plural. So these are just idiomatic is when it is not to be taken, it's different from the normal construction. So please remember these two distinct idiomatic constructions where, and when are these idiomatic constructions used? When you want to emphasize that these are common occurrences. Many a good driver finds skidding an alarming experience. More than one accident has happened in the fog here. You're trying to say that many accidents have happened, or many good drivers find skidding an alarming experience. But the manner of saying this, by saying it in singular in a different way than what you mean, it brings out that distinct emphasis that this is a common occurrence. Now, similarly, there is another problem where people get confused: a majority or minority. Each of these nouns have different senses, and sometimes it can take a singular verb, sometimes a plural. So let's see an example where it only takes a singular sense. The government's majority. So majority is the subject. The government's majority when the house divided was 274. So it is a singular majority because you're giving a number 274 out of, let's say, 400 or whatever, right? So government's majority was. You will not say the government's majority were 274. So in such a usage, majority will take only a singular sense. Let's see another example. Most of the MPs will endorse the women reservation bill, but a minority is likely to abstain, or a minority are likely to abstain. Now, let's say in the parliament we are putting women's reservation bill for voting, and somebody is predicting that most of the MPs will endorse this bill, but let's say some from some party, particular party. So if it's a definite majority, which you can treat as a single entity, where it's clearly identifiable, but a minority is likely to abstain. A minority of what? A minority of MPs belonging to a particular party. So you have that clear minority kind of thing identified as a singular entity. So then the singular sense emerges. But minority of MPs spread over different parties where it's not clear who are the ones who will oppose it. So then you can say, but a minority are likely to abstain when that minority has a plural sense. So in such a example, minority can take a singular meaning as well as a plural meaning, depending on what the original person who is saying this sentence means. Now, obviously, such a question coming in an exam is difficult. You see, because how will you know what that original person is saying? So please don't ask questions that, sir, what will we do if it comes in an exam? The point is, I'm trying to teach you the fine aspects of the language. I am not only preparing you for your exam, I'm preparing you for life so that when you write correct English, and see that English provides you the different options depending on the meaning you want to convey. After all, language is a vehicle for meaning. A language is not for giving exams alone, right? Finally, you're going to use your language throughout your life. Exam you may give one time, you may have, let's say ZAT may have maximum 3 questions on, or IFT may have 3 questions, grammar questions. But doesn't mean you don't learn the fine aspects of the language. You only learn it from exam point of view and then forget what English grammar has to say for the rest of your life. Okay, let's move on. The third problem that particularly is applicable in British English, where again a group noun like committee, team, cabinet, family, jury, board, etc., such group nouns can either take a singular or a plural verb depending on whether the group is being treated as a one single entity, like we saw in the case of majority and minority, right? Or they're being treated in a plural sense as members, right? So this problem is peculiar to British English, not to American English. American English treat all these group nouns as a singular subject and they always take a singular verb. So there is no problem. And so therefore, let's just see each example. The committee has been disbanded. So a committee was appointed for a particular purpose. Now the purpose is over. The committee has submitted its report. So the committee has been in a way annulled or disbanded. So here obviously you're talking of the committee as a single entity. So here the only sense that the committee as a group noun can take is a singular sense. So the verb will obviously be singular, has been disbanded. Whenever you want to test whether a plural sense is emerging, so try to add a associated word. Suppose I say the committee members. If I put the word members, then obviously I have the plural uh, sense in mind. So if I say the committee members have been disbanded, now obviously you can't disband a member. A member is a person, right? You can, as an entity, you can disband a committee. You can't start dismantling each member one at a time. You screw out his head and keep it aside or something of that sort. So obviously, in a sentence like this, only the singular meaning related to the committee as an entity is applicable. Let's see the next example. The team was or were. The team was now or were now in the field and about to take their positions or its positions. So obviously now let's say it's a cricket team, 11 players, and the fielding team is going to take. So there are different players going to take different positions. So obviously there's a plural sense. So you're basically saying the team players. So if it's American English, they will use the word the team players. In British English, they will use the plural sense without using the word players or members or whatever. But the choice of the verb will convey whether the sense is plural or not. So if I were writing it in American English, I would say the team players were now in the field and about to take their positions. Now there's no problem because players is a plural subject and were, and then the pronoun plural there. Everything is perfect. There's no problem. But the British have this tendency to drop out players or members. So they'll say the team were now in the field. Now that sounds a little odd to you initially. But in British English, that is correct English. The team were now in the field and about to take their position, meaning the team players. So they use were without using the word players and convey a plural sense through the verb. So were is correct here. Now you was obviously cannot be correct because there are more than one player and there's more than one position. So therefore its position also doesn't make sense, right? Unless it's a specific, award winning ceremony or at the end of the ceremony where the team is going as one entity and taking one position, which obviously is not the case here. Right, let's look at the next sentence. The cabinet has long been fighting or have long been fighting among themselves or among itself. Now, can it fight among itself? So, obviously, you're talking of the cabinet members or the cabinet ministers. So, you're not referring to the cabinet as one entity, as one collective entity, but as members of ministers. So the cabinet ministers have long been fighting among themselves. That would be the correct plural sense to convey if it is spoken in American English. But in British English, the they will cut out the ministers or members and just say the cabinet have long been fighting among themselves. It's obviously clear because you have used the plural verb have, you obviously mean the ministers or the members. So, in such a case, this is a case of where cabinet can only have a plural meaning in this kind of a sentence. Let's see the next sentence. The jury has retired to consider its verdict. So now you're treating jury as one entity, that it has retired to consider its verdict. Yes, that's correct. The jury have retired to consider their verdict. That's also correct. Meaning the jury members have retired to consider their verdict. So, jury here in this kind of a construction or in the with this meaning that is being conveyed, can you can either treat it as one collective entity and a singular sense emerging, or as the jury members have retired to consider their verdict without using the word members in British English, right? In American English, you would use members and then have, and then the plural. So that is absolutely clear then. The next sentence, the committee has conveyed its rejection of the new rules. The committee have conveyed their rejection of the new rules. So again, here both singular and plural sense are possible. And like I said, again in an exam, such examples will not come where they have possible two likely options, right? So a good examiner will not be that stupid. But the point is, understand how the language is used for you to be able to use it. Because finally, you're learning language so that you can write, speak, and use it proficiently. So the committee as an entity has conveyed its rejection of the new rules. The committee members, as a plural meaning, have conveyed their rejection of the new rules. So both meanings are correct. But depending on which meaning you want to convey, you choose a singular or a plural depending on what sense you want to convey. Right. So I hope this is a tricky point and it's particularly applicable in British English. Uh, it sounds very odd when you say the committee have or the cabinet have, the team were, suddenly team and then were. So just to make it easy on your ear, just repeat the team players were, the cabinet ministers have, the committee players have. And understand that in British English, you don't write those players or ministers and stuff like that. Okay, let's move on to the fourth point, compound nouns. So there are times in the English language, you all know that two singular nouns joined by and makes it a plural subject, right? If I say Jack and Jill are, let's say, going for a morning walk or are going up the hill. So Jack and Jill, Jack is going up the hill, Jill is going up the hill, but Jack and Jill are going up the hill. So when you put and between Jack and Jill, they two singular people become a plural group, right? But sometimes you're referring to one thing, but yet in that expression you're using and. So, like bacon and eggs are my favorite breakfast? No. Bacon and eggs is one dish, right? So, bacon and eggs is my favorite. So, bacon and eggs is a compound noun which has a singular sense because it is the dish of bacon and eggs is my favorite breakfast, right? Similarly, idli and dosa is my favorite breakfast. Next example, the rise and fall of tides. Now, this whole thing is one phenomena. So it takes a singular sense. So is. So the rise and, though there's an and to make it plural, but still it's referring to one entity, one thing. So it will take a singular verb. The rise and fall of tides is a phenomenon well known to mariners. Next, the secretary and treasurer has arrived for the meeting. Now there's one person holding two portfolios. He is the secretary as well as the treasurer. So that person has arrived for the meeting. So the secretary and treasurer refers to one person. But now suppose the same sentence had the secretary and the treasurer. So if you put a second the before treasurer, then you obviously mean two separate people. One person holding the portfolio of secretary and another person holding the portfolio of treasurer. So that then it would be have arrived. Then there will be two people who have arrived. So you have got to be careful as to whether it's truly a compound noun or whether it's referring to one person or one thing. You have to be careful about that. Like the politician and statesman is a very popular world leader, right? If you say the population and the statesman, then there'll be two people, right? But if you are referring to one, then the verb will be is. The magician and juggler has enthralled the audience. So there's only one person, let's say on stage, Mr. Gogu Pasha or someone who's also a magician and then he did juggling acts as well. So the magician and juggler, one person has enthralled the audience. So this is something you have to keep in mind, that does it mean one person or is it meaning two persons? The magician and the juggler, then you're meaning two people. Then you'll say have enthralled. So this is something you must keep in mind when you are dealing with compound nouns, to see whether it's a true compound noun or they are actually two people you are referring to. Just one sec. So another area of grammar where it's difficult to determine whether it's singular or plural is when there's a notional subject. Like if you say 2 weeks, you actually mean a period of 2 weeks. So the notional subject is a period, which is a singular now a subject. While 2 weeks is plural, then 8 kilometers is plural. But when you talk of 8 kilometers, you are actually talking of a distance of 8 kilometers. If you're talking of $5, it's plural, but then you're talking of a sum of $5 in a particular sentence. So then the verb will be singular because singular verb, a period is singular, the distance is singular, the sum is singular, so that will take a singular verb. So let's see some examples. 2 weeks is a long time in politics. You can't say that you can't say 2 weeks are a long time because you're basically saying the period of 2 weeks is a long time in politics and is a long time. That period you're talking of 2 weeks is a period. So the notional subject is the period. 8 kilometers is too far for novice hikers. So again, the distance of 8 kilometers is. So distance is. $5 is not enough for a square meal. So $5 are not enough? No. The sum of $5 is not enough. Though in another construction, you can always say there are $5 lying in my drawer. You can take as much as you want. So you can use $5 in a plural sense in another kind of construction. But when you are using it in this sense, as in these examples, the notional subject is the sum of $5. So hence it will take a singular verb. Then when you join singular verbs with and, like I discussed earlier, they become plural. So if I say John and his mother were there, so and John is one person, his mother is another person, and joins John and his mother, makes it a plural subject. So you will use the plural verb were there. But if other than and, anything other than and, like along with, accompanied by, together with, as well as, even as well as, doesn't make it plural. So you got to be careful about that. So if you say the king along with his whole family was slain, so you're basically saying the king was slain along with his whole family, right? So along with his whole family is not part of the subject. The subject, the king, remains singular, and agrees with the singular verb was slain. But if you say the king and his whole family were slain, if you put and there, then it will become were slain. Similarly, John as well as Harry bears witness. So basically, you're saying John bears witness as well as Harry. So that takes a secondary importance, position of secondary importance, and doesn't become integral part of the subject. So John as a singular subject takes the singular verb bears. But if you want to say John and Harry, both both bear witness. So both together become plural, and then you have the plural verb bear rather than the third person singular bears. So when you put a s in a verb, you actually it's related to third person singular. So John bears witness, John and Harry bear witness, plural. So please remember, if there is no and, there is other things like along with, accompanied by, together with, as well as, they don't make the subject plural. Another tricky area is one off. So let us see different constructions with one off. So one of the buses, let's say there were 10 buses, one of the buses has broken down. So obviously it is not 10 buses have broken down, only one has. So one becomes the subject, which is singular, and hence the verb is singular has. Now let's see the next sentence. He is singular. He takes a singular verb is, right? So subject verb agreement is there. He is. Let's go further. He is one of those people. Those itself shows that those people are plural. So there are many such people who have this habit, who are basically stupid, who never listen to reason. So there are many such people. He is just one of them. He's a member of the set of such those people. So you are basically saying X is a member of the set of people who never listen to reason. So obviously when you are describing the group, those people who never listen. So listen has to be a plural verb. You can't say he is one of those people who never listens, because he as a singular subject has already taken its singular verb is. So he is one of a group. Now you're defining the group. Now forget about he. That group consists of those people who never listen to reason. So you need a plural verb listen to agree with those people. So this is kind of a construction you have to be careful of. That is one of the few regulations. So there are many regulations, right, that don't work, or there are few regulations that or really work. That is one of those. So again, that singular is verb singular, story over. Now the group of the few regulations that really work, so not really works. It will be really work, plural verb, because plural subject, the few regulations. Now the same thing, if the word only comes in, it changes the whole thing, because only is a emphasizing adjective kind of a thing here. That is the only one, not one, the only one. So now the only one, emphasis is on that, of all these plans. Now there are many plans that really work, but we are talking of that is the only one. So when you are emphasizing the only one, then you have to ensure that the verb is singular. So the only one that really works. Now here is not the plans that really work. It is the only one become the singular subject that really works, singular verb. There is another construction, the neither nor construction or the either or construction, where you have to be careful about what is singular, what is plural, which verb should it be a plural verb or singular verb. So let us see the kind of possibilities there are. So if I say neither the prime minister, which is singular, nor his minister, let's say his home minister, Amit Shah, right, singular, is willing to take any responsibility for the fiasco. You already know that neither, either on their own are singular. So suppose I say neither minister or neither movie was good, right? Or either of the books was good. So either neither are singular otherwise. But in this construction, when you say neither the PM, which is singular, nor is minister singular, so basically a singular sense is emerging, and the closest subject to the verb is his minister. So obviously you will take a singular verb is. So neither the PM nor his minister is willing. Here the is applies to PM also. Basically you're saying that neither the PM is nor his minister is willing to take any responsibility for the fiasco. Let's see the other example. Neither the boys nor the girls were willing to act. Now here obviously you can't say was willing to act because the boys is plural, the girls is plural. Were applies to the boys also, the boys were and the girls were willing, the boys were willing. So if both are plural, you'll have a plural verb. If both are singular, you'll have a singular verb, right? So no problem here. Now let's take a third case where the first is singular and the second is plural. So neither the prime minister nor his ministers are willing to take any responsibility for the fiasco. Now the overall is there's one prime minister and number of ministers, so overall sense is plural. So R is closest to the ministers. So R matches, agrees with the plural ministers. Though you can't say neither the PM R. R doesn't directly apply there. But R as a single R is acceptable here. You need not say neither the PM is nor his ministers are. If you say that, that is also not wrong. If I say neither the prime minister is nor his ministers are willing to take, that is also okay. But the first is can be dropped because uh, R virtually covers the plural sense of the whole combination of the subject. Now, problem arises when the first subject is plural and the second singular. Let's take this case. Neither the teachers nor the principal are available for comment or is available for comment. Now, the issue is the principal is a singular, so the verb is coming closest to it. So if you say the principal is, that is correct. But then if there is only one is, then it is kind of, you know, not matching with the overall plural sense because there are so many teachers also there. So the correct way to get over this difficulty is provide two verbs rather than just one. So neither the teachers are nor the principal is available for comment. Now the general rule that you are taught is that the verb should agree with the second subject, right? So this I'm trying to bring out a more nuanced thing because this is what the experts say, and this is how you should use your own language. From an exam point of view, who the examiner may not know this fine point of this rule, right? So he may expect you to have just the second subject match with the verb, but in your own writing, be careful of this aspect. Neither the teachers are nor the principal is available for comment because this may not sound so. Let us see if there are pronouns. Suppose, like if I say neither they nor I am available for comment. So suppose I use only one verb, right, instead of two, and I say neither they nor I am available for comment. Now it sounds so wrong because I am, right? Am tends to then kind of get mixed with they also. They am, I am. So uh, am, when you are using pronouns, this thing hits you all the more that there's something sounding wrong about it. So it's better to put are. Neither they are nor I am. So it flows beautifully. The plural subject gets a plural verb, a singular subject gets a singular verb. By putting two verbs, you're not breaking the parallelity or parallelism in the sentence, right? So there is no compulsion to use only one verb. Now, this is a fine aspect related to this question, which you should note for your own, understanding of what is correct English. But the examiner who may have such a question in an exam, he may he may not know this rule, so he may expect from you the knowledge of the rule that the second subject should agree with the verb. So if you say neither they nor I am, it should be am as per them, as per the. But that sounds so wrong. Similarly, neither the teacher nor the principal is. That would be the correct option as per that rule which the examiners know about. So this is something you must be careful on. You have to, in your actual life, use the rule I am teaching you, and in the exam you have to use the rule that you've been taught in coaching centers. As I had said in another case that we did with every thing which was a indefinite pronoun. So indefinite and distributive pronoun. Distributive pronouns are either, neither, each, every. Indefinite pronouns are like everybody, everything, everyone. Somebody, something, someone. Anyone, anybody, anything. Nobody, nothing, no one. Right? All these are indefinite pronouns. They, as per the grammar rule, take third person singular. They are treated as third person singular and hence take a singular verb. So let's see these examples. Everybody knows the earth is round. So everybody is singular, knows is singular. Yes, very good. Anyone who thinks otherwise is daft or is silly. So anyone singular, thinks, singular verb, perfect. Someone is knocking at the door. Now, someone again is singular, is knocking at the door, singular verb. Now, let's come to the other examples. If anybody calls, tell him I'm not at home. Now, the problem comes here that anybody is singular. So, if anybody calls, yes, tell him. Now, why not tell her? So, the issue of gender creates a problem, right? Especially when language is tending to become gender neutral. Today, in language, they talk of a them or a their, which is actually singular in meaning. So, suppose I say, if anybody calls, tell them I'm not at home, that is correct. But the them is then singular, with a singular meaning, not plural meaning. So, this is the latest introduction in the language, which again your examiners do not know of, right? But in your own writing, start using their and them as singular if necessary, right? Where they can carry a singular meaning as well. So if I write this sentence in my own, let's say, writing, I would say if anybody calls, tell them I'm not at home, and I would be perfectly right. But from an exam point of view, you will have to say if anybody calls, tell him or her I'm not at home, or just tell him I'm not at home, or tell her I'm not at home. So whichever, it has to be singular, right? That is the logic of grammar. The traditional rule says this. But because this creates a problem of confusion in gender, let's say one lady is talking to another lady, and the expectation is only that some lady will call. Then if anybody calls, tell her would be natural. So depend, but sometimes gender you can use. But if you don't know the gender, let's say we wanted uh, to thank everybody for their help. Like everybody is singular, so should I say we wanted to thank everybody for his or her help? Because some men also helped us, some women also helped us. So what do I say? If I say their help, that means I am violating the rule of singularity. So there in that case is singular. So today you have a there and them, which is plural, as you always had, and you have a new there and them, which is a singular with a singular meaning, right? So language has introduced this. There are so many articles that come in language magazines, in Reader's Digest, elsewhere. So this is something new you should be aware of. But from an exam point of view, just stick to the traditional rule that anybody is singular. So if anybody calls, tell him I'm not at home. That would be from exam point of view. But from your own writing point of view, if anybody calls, tell them I'm not at home. Nobody wants to be ill, do they? I would say do they in my own writing, but because nobody is singular, I'll have to say does he or does she? Because nobody is singular, so here also the pronoun should be singular. So we are getting into now noun pronoun agreement also within along with the subject verb agreement. Nobody is a singular subject, wants is a singular verb. Everybody is required to take all their things with them, or everybody is required to take all his things with him, or everybody is required to take all her things with her. Uh, you know, so this is the problem. That is why they've introduced the singular. But anyway, from exam point of view, again, everybody is required to take all his things with him. That is correct. But in your own writing, please use everybody is required to take all their things with them. That would be correct as per the latest rules and use of the language. The examiners have yet to catch up, at least the most of them that I know, right? So you have to be careful, learn this point that there's a traditional rule and there is a revised rule. Some continue to use the traditional rule, especially examiners who still refer to old grammar books and who don't keep in touch with the evolving language. And so this is one area, again, a little dicey. Let's come to the last of the points that I have to convey about subject verb agreement: a number of and the number of. So let's see two examples. A number of students were absent from school owing to inclement weather. So bad weather, heavy rains in Mumbai. So a number of, so many students, a lot of them, a number of them. So a number of students. So a number has a plural sense, so were absent, right? When you're talking of the number, you're actually talking of a number in mind, let's say 20, 25, 22, whatever. So the number of people who had gathered to protest against price rise was far more than expected. So here you are talking of a singular number, right? So that was far more than expected. You expected just 10 odd people to come, but 25 people turned up to protest against the price rise, right? Opposite whatever somebody's office. So the number of people was. So keep all these points in mind when you are looking at this common error of subject verb agreement and what is singular, what is plural, which is the subject, which is the verb it is related to. These are the things you have to keep in mind. Now, after this, we will do a short grammar exercise. Okay, here is a grammar exercise to test you on the points covered in this session so far. Now, there are 10 such questions. You have to correct the following sentence if necessary. So, that means there could be some with no errors as well. So, what I'll do is, I'll give you 2 minutes to do this. You can take a piece of paper or a pad and write down the corrections that you feel that should be made, and then we will discuss the answers. Okay, time up. We will now see the answers. Right. Let's see the first question. It was a classic conflict of family politics. Now, neither the sons plural, so plural subject when it comes first, so give it a plural verb. The sons were, nor the father was willing to listen to an alternative interpretation of the incident. So, neither the sons were, nor the father was. This would be the correct subject verb agreement. Plural subject agreeing with a plural verb, singular subject with a singular verb. Neither of these books, neither obviously refers to one, neither of these two books, let's say, right? So neither of these books is any good to me. So is singular subject neither, singular verb is. Each one of the dogs in the show requires, not require. Each is singular. So each is a distributive pronoun which is singular, hence it requires a special kind of diet. Singular verb. The teacher and his assistant. Now there are two people, the teacher and makes a plural subject, right? Now along with the principal doesn't add further to the plurality, but you already have a plural subject with an and. So this is the subject which will take a plural verb. So grade the final exams, not grades. Grades would be singular. The teacher grades, but the teacher and his assistant grade. 5, 6 weeks. The duration or the period of 6 weeks is a long time to wait for delivery. So the notional subject is the duration or the period. So that is singular, hence the verb is singular, is. Everybody except Frank and me. So except Frank and me are, let's say, can be put in brackets. So everybody wants him to be chosen class representative except Frank and me. So except is not integral to the structure of the sentence. So the main verb is everybody, which is singular. So everybody wants. Neither of them was prepared for the emergency. So again, neither singular subject, was singular verb. This is, now again, this singular, so is, that closes the chapter there. One of the paintings, so that means there were about, let's say, 10 paintings, right, which are going to be sold at the auction. So this was just one of them. This is one of the paintings that are going to be sold at auction this afternoon. So the verb are matches with paintings, the plural, the 10 paintings which are going to be sold. This is one of those. 9. Never before in the history of our school have there been such promising students. So again, inverted order where the subject is coming after the verb. So such promising students is the subject. Have there been, not has there been. So has there been such a promising student? Yes. If it was such a promising student, then has, but have there been such promising students? So plural have to go with plural students. Now let's come to that idiomatic structure example where we saw the example of many a good driver finds skidding an alarming experience. Now, here again, somebody mentioned that, listen, that boy was so fair, and the girl he married, she was dark. Normally, a fair boy would not, in our kind of a society where color is, racism is still so prevalent, right? So it was odd. So the person is saying, Array, it's become a common occurrence now. Many a fair boy has married a dark girl. I know so many such cases. Nobody bothers about, nobody is racist anymore. This color thing now, nobody pays much heed to it. So those traditional things are all gone. Many a fair boy has married a dark girl, or many fair boys have married dark girls. So I could put it all in the plural, or I could put it in this idiomatic way, in this idiomatic construction. which is to emphasize that it is a common occurrence. Right, so we will do the second part of the exercise, 10 more questions. Okay, here is the remaining part of the grammar exercise we started with. We have done up to 10, discussed them. Now, please do questions 11 to 20. I will give you about 2.5 minutes. Please start. After that, we will discuss the answers. Okay, your time is up. Now we will see the answers. Let's start with question 11. The whole block of buildings. Now, including whatever comes after including doesn't add to the subject. So, the subject is the whole block of buildings, in which the subject word is block, which is singular. So, this block was destroyed in the fire. So, block is the singular verb which was destroyed. So, it deserves a singular verb, not a plural verb. Though there are, furniture stores, buildings, all these plural nouns in between, don't forget that the subject word which relates to the verb is block. So the whole block, the block was destroyed. Question 12, everyone, again singular, indefinite pronoun. So everyone performs their work. Should I say everyone performs his or her work with utmost sincerity, whether the boss is around or not? So, his or her work, you can say, if, I don't know how the examination will frame as multiple choices, but the correct way to say the sentence would be everyone performs their work. Everyone is singular, verb is singular, there is also singular. So there's no disagreement with anything. Everyone, singular subject, performs, singular verb, their work, singular work, singular pronoun, right? Okay. The board, now that's a group noun. The board were divided over the support of the company's legal actions and appeals. Can I say the board was divided over its support? So, am I trying to, should I treat what is more natural in this case? So, you see, let's say there are 10 members on the board, and out of them, let's say 4 on one side, 6 on the other, or 4 and 2 again on some other, they have another view. So, the board is, let's say, all split up. So, basically, the board members, you are trying to say the board members were divided over their support. Now, here the there is a plural. So the there singular on top with an indefinite pronoun has a different feel to it. Here clearly their support, the members support. So the board members becomes a plural subject. The board members were divided over the support to the. So if you say members, then it sounds perfectly correct. But the British don't say members, they just say the board were divided, meaning the members were, and that's how British English is used. If it was American English, they would say the board members were divided. So I hope you got this. 14, the reviewers agree that this is, so this again, singular, is one of the most interesting novels. So there are many most interesting novels. One would say that the most interesting novel would refer to only one thing, like a superlative, you know, more interesting, most interesting, but sometimes most is used as very, meaning one of the most interesting novels is one of the very interesting novels. So it's not a use of a, uh, let's say, superlative comparison, positive, comparative, superlative, that kind of a thing. It is one of the very interesting novels. So there are 10 many interesting novels. This is one of them. So those 10 novels that have recently been issued or published, right? So therefore, the plural verb have matches with the plural subject novels, while this is the singular subject, matches with the singular verb is. This is one of the most, one of the very interesting novels that have, right? Okay. 15, neither they were. Again, you have a pronoun, a plural pronoun in the beginning. So neither they were nor she was in the locker room when the thief broke in. Suppose I say neither they nor she was in the locker room. So, the was will kind of jar with they. Was matches with she. She singular, was singular, good. But because the first one is a plural pronoun they, give it a plural verb. That is the what the experts recommend today as per the, let's say, revised rules that are applicable, what usage experts say in some of the best books that are available on the language. And remember, language is not some static thing, it's not cast in stone. Language evolves with time, rules change, rules are relaxed, right? Something is acceptable in spoken English, something is only accepted, rules have to be followed sometimes a little more rigidly in writing, but in spoken English it can be relaxed. So language, treat it as a means to an end. It is a means to convey meaning. Not just, don't look at it just from exam point of view, because then you are limiting yourself. So again, the same point of neither nor. 16, the spacious stations of the city's first subway system are certainly impressive, but the number, again, not a number of students, plural, but the number of delays is, the number singular subject is as annoying and inexplicable as we feared, right? So the number of delays is. The purpose of all these chapters and tests, now chapters is plural, tests is plural, but the real subject is the purpose, which is singular. So basically you're saying the purpose of XYZ is to teach you correct grammar. So the purpose of all this exercise which we have done today is to teach you correct grammar in actual usage in your real life, right? So the purpose, singular subject, is. Again, either or construction, like neither nor, we have seen so many examples. Either modern dance, singular, or classical ballet, again singular. So this is a case of both singular. So obviously one subject is, which applies to either modern dance is or classical ballet is. So repeating both two is sounds so silly. So one is good enough. So is matches with both the singular subjects. So is the singular verb. Is useful for toning up the muscles and creating a sense of poise. 19. The king was present at the ceremony. With the rest of the royal family is separate, you know. The king is the subject. If it was the king and the rest of the royal family, then were present, because and will make it plural. But with the rest will not make it plural. So the king was present at the ceremony, singular subject, singular verb. Last question. The conditions governing the truce which has been arranged by the, so has been arranged, that is singular. Now what has been arranged? The truce. Okay, so the truce is the singular subject which has its own singular verb, has been arranged, while the conditions is the real subject of this sentence. So the conditions have not been revealed. So the conditions governing the truce which has been arranged by the United States have not been revealed. The conditions have not been revealed, right? So the conditions is the plural subject, and hence you must have the plural verb have. So with this we come to the end of our first common error, subject verb agreement, and through an exercise, grammar exercise of 20 questions, I hope most of the points have sunk in. Thank you very much. We'll come up with our next video in a day or so.